Survivor's ready!
Direct from Hobart, it's time for you to hear those so-called experts from Survivor Oz talk about another reality show, despite the fact they always said they would only ever talk about Survivor. It's The Amazing Race Oz, and here's your host,
Noah Grove. Hello, people and puffins, and welcome to another episode of The Amazing Race Oz premiere recap of the Jade anniversary season 26. The Amazing Race blind versus sight. I don't know. Blind couple. Well, we're back. Wasn't sure if I'd join in this podcast after the reception from the cast assessment one, but you know, I had to live up to my duties despite what Rossi says about professionals and all that. But yes, that's right. I listened. Yes, we're here to dissect and discuss the premiere and episode 2 because they decided to air 2 episodes in 1 week, which will anybody think of the podcasters? So we've got to cram episodes, which one was one into a short amount of time. So if we gloss over a lot of stuff in this first one, that's the reason why, because we want to do our podcast. So I'm joined by 5 ARzlets with me today. The man who is best known for hosting the Amazing Race Season 26 preview episode, and the man who was so close to being someone who interviews Season 30 contestants of Survivor, but FUCBS. Colin Hilding, welcome back.
Thanks, and at the very least, if you continue to drop out, I may be able to pick up your paycheck for the evening.
Yeah, great times. From Melbourne is the happiest man to ever be alive, Alex Morella. Morella, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Noah.
I don't even know where he's from. It's the grumpiest man to ever be alive, Anthony Rossi. Rossi, welcome back.
I don't know if you're a professional yet, Noah. Still have to work there.
And joining the grumpiest man alive, it's the most dead-sounding woman alive. Axton Kanar, welcome back.
Yo.
And last, and I don't think least, but we'll see, pressure's on, Jared Lubeck from Emu Plains, welcome back.
Thanks. Definitely probably least when it comes to predicting Amazing Race placements, but
we'll get to the predictions, don't worry about that. So, Season 26, the Jade anniversary, what do we think? Just general thoughts on the first 2 episodes. We'll dive into the twist a lot more and all that jazz, but general thoughts on how this season is shaping out, especially compared to the Silver anniversary, one of our favourites. Colin?
I wasn't too happy with the first episode. It was pretty much what I think we were expecting. There was a lot of this crammed segments with, you know, the dating stuff and getting to know each other and socializing. I didn't think that the detours were very good in the first episode, so going into the second one, I wasn't that optimistic, but the second one very much won me over. So I'm more optimistic having seen the second episode this week.
Yeah, I'm with you there on the second one. I like the second one. Morella, what did you think? General thoughts on the season so far?
I haven't really been able to get into it. A couple of quirky, kind of hilarious moments, but it seemed again kind of trying to put stuff in that did. I don't know, just watching the second one, I felt like it felt rushed still. I don't know, it just felt like everything was still just a little bit too rushed.
You didn't like the 90-minute premiere that they gave us?
It was very for you? Minutes. It just seemed like 30 minutes of dating filler I didn't quite want.
Yeah, fair enough. Kristen?
I saw a lot of negative feedback from, everybody, but I'm not Kristening that much on this season. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's fine. That's all you got.
Did you say you heard negative feedback? I haven't really looked at the perceptions of the season so far.
I was looking at the Facebook page, and everyone was I'm not watching anymore, and dating stuff sucks. But whatever.
Yeah, I'm one of those fans, Ben Waterworth, but we'll get to that. Jared, what did you think about the season so far? Yeah, he is a moron. Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's kind of the opposite to Survivor. With Survivor, I had such high expectations, and with this, my expectations were pretty low. So then it kind of surprised me. I suppose I'm sort of the opposite to everybody else. I really enjoyed the premiere, but not so much the second episode. I thought the second episode was my fence, and but I like all of the teams, which is really amazing race. But there's nobody that at the moment.
Maybe that's like a marketing tactic that they purposely have terrible shit twists so that people's expectations are low and people think the seasons are really good. I'm not sure. Rossi, what did you think so far?
Jared's not alone. I'm loving this season, and the first episode was so much better than the second.
So, if I'm not mistaken, Colin said he enjoyed the second one more, so we kind of got this riff going on here over episode 1 and 2, but the joy of this is we get to talk about both, so everyone wins. Yeah, I'm with most people. I'm not sure if I'm loving it. It's no season 25. There's no Shelley and Nisi, Jim and Misty, but it's been pretty good, better than I expected. For this first one, I thought we'd do a bit of a different order and talk about the teams first, so we can jump straight into the episode after. Don't want to spend too much time on this, but obviously you guys recapped the teams, or not recap, previewed them in your cast assessment episode, so it'll be interesting for you guys who was better than you thought, worse, the same. So we'll just go through the teams, again, not spending too much time on it, but just how you think they're shaping up so far in the game. And let's start with, I think they've been called Team #Blasian. I'm not sure how correct that is. This is Jenny and Jelani. Colin, Jenny and Jelani so far?
Jelani.
#the legal team.
What is with that legal team thing? Like, they could have come up with something more exciting than that.
These hashtags, we had such high expectations from #Soul Surfers. Now we got these ones.
Yeah. I really think that as soon as this podcast catches on, Jelani will be the hashtag, though. We'll see that by the end of the season, guaranteed. I think they pretty much embody what is working, especially in the second episode, and that this dating twist isn't just becoming The Bachelor, because a lot of these teams are just saying, like Jelani are, we're just going to kind of race right now, and then we'll worry about that later on. So I'm glad that it hasn't just become, the Bachelor and the Bachelorette with them, but I think most of us expected them to do well. Look at the rankings. Yeah, almost all of us expected them to do well going in, but they're really dominating, and I don't think anybody expected them to dominate this early. So I'm very happy with how they've done it so far. I do have to say that Jelani needs to lose that fanny pack of his. That thing was probably what was throwing off his rhythm in the sinking steps that we'll get to later on. Because Jenny's definitely, between the two of them, Jenny dominates everything she does, and Jelani's kind of struggling. So lose the fanny pack and we'll see what happens.
Rossi, #the legal team.
They were more exciting than I anticipated. I thought they'd be a bit dry, but they're good. They're strong. Good all around.
Jared, #Blasian.
I really liked them. I thought they were going to do well, but they sort of surprised how well they've done and how visible they've been. I thought they definitely could have been sort of one of the teams that we didn't see much of and was kind of invisible. But, I mean, they're up the front and they're getting lots of airtime, so it's good.
Kristen, #Jelani.
I think on my first look through the cast, they were the only team I had hope for, but I don't know why. But then between the cast assessment and the first episode, I kind of lost hope after looking at Jenny's ridiculous blog. But now I'm happy with my winner's pick, though. There's that.
And Marilla.
I have high hopes for Jelani still. I quite enjoyed watching them. They were good fun. I don't know why they got screwed out of not getting the Team JJ hashtag, but another team of JJ did. But no, they just seem really good at everything, and I thought it was fun that they were doing the sinking step, running to the pit stop and things. They just seem like good fun.
Yeah, I'm predicting this is the final 3 team here, but I like Jelani. And Alex brought it up, the coveted hashtag Team JJ title. Jeff and Jackie. We'll start with Kristen this time.
Yeah, why not? I don't want to talk about them.
Have you got some regression against Jeff and Jackie?
They I forgot the first episode that they weren't an already dating team. I don't know. I was confused. I don't have anything to say about them. I don't like them.
Of all the teams, if I had to talk about them, Jeff and Jackie would probably be the team I would most blank on. Rossi, you got anything for Jeff and Jackie?
I love Jeff and Jackie. What is wrong with you, Noah? Well, a lot for you.
The follow-up question to that would be why?
I don't know. Maybe the bug thing in the car. I don't know.
That was
good.
Hashtag being man.
I know. I just like them. Maybe I want them to stay because I predicted them to win, but I don't know. I just like them a lot.
Speaking of predictions, Jared, Jeff and Jackie.
I think they're alright. Like I said, there's sort of nobody that I'm really not liking in the race at the moment. So I don't know. There's really that much to say to them. Their relationship is just a bit weird, but I suppose that's to be expected.
Yeah, Marilla.
I don't know. They're just kind of there.
So much love for Jeff and Jackie.
When there's so many dating teams, it's almost like you can't say they're the generic dating team because half of them seem generic dating teams at the moment.
But they're hashtag Team JJ.
Exactly.
Art JJ.
Anything.
Was that his name? JJ? Art and JJ? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's the one. Art and JJ.
I didn't know JJ was a returning player this season with Jackie. Colin, Jeff and Jackie.
It's funny because I came out of these episodes thinking, yeah, Jeff and Jackie are okay. And I just tried looking over my notes for both episodes, and I couldn't find anything relating to either of them. So apparently they're not as memorable as I thought they were. But I think...
Well, that's what I was like.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think about them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that there's anything wrong with them. I remember who they are, but I don't think that they really had any standout moments. I seem to lose track of them, too, throughout the race, where near the end of the first or the second episode, I thought they were still in it. Meanwhile, they had already checked in at the pit stop. So there's something going on with them. Maybe it's Jeff, because Jackie sticks out in my mind a lot, and Jeff not so much. So I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens with them. But yeah, I don't really have anything to add on them right now.
I get Jeff and Jackie and Matt and Ashley confused.
Yeah,
they kind of similar teams. Next is another creative hashtag Team SoCal. Don't know who came up with these brilliant ones. We've got Laura and Tyler. Jared, give me some Laura and Tyler love.
I'm just trying to think who they are. I don't know, there's something about, I don't know what any of the teams are actually called. Okay, I know who you mean. They're good. She's really awkward with him because Josh seems to just make him embarrassed, and she's just really weird about him. I don't know if they're likable enough, and they're doing well, so we'll see.
I think Tyler and Laura are a poor man and woman's Ali and Stephen. If that's his name, Stephen, yeah. Colin, what do you think about Laura and Tyler?
Again, kind of in agreement. Maybe we're picking the wrong teams to start this on, but they did really well, didn't they? I mean, they finished pretty high in both legs, the first and second episode.
Yeah,
but
third in the first leg and second in the second
yeah,
leg.
I don't know. There's one moment which we'll talk about later on in which I'm going to guess that Tyler may be one of the stupidest people to ever compete in the race. But we'll cover that a little bit later. Other than that...
Well, there is a team that maybe got eliminated in the second episode that I think could add to that theory, but we'll get to them.
Yeah, but I think that Tyler and Laura, a lot of these teams... It's funny, I can't remember who said it earlier on that the episodes felt rushed. The only thing I noticed in that is that the first and second, third place teams to check in the second episode, it happened very early. I think it wasn't even halfway through the episode and Tyler and Laura had finished.
Yeah.
So we didn't really get that much of a chance to see much of them yet, but in the coming weeks as the race spaces out a little bit more, I'm sure we'll see more because they're obviously doing well.
Yeah. Rossi, Laura Tyler.
I'm loving the blind dates more than the regular dating couples because I love Tyler and what's his name?
Tyler and Laura. Tyler and Laura, and what's his name? I didn't see this twist of a third person being added into
Hashtag
it. Tyler,
Laura and
Laura,
what's his name?
That's a good twist.
Alright,
Alex, Tyler and Laura,
Shut
and
up.
what's his name?
I don't want to use generic 2 teams in a row, but they felt generic. Just kind of the blonde girl who's kind of a little bit happy and excited, and the guy who kind of is slightly juice but can do challenges that are physical. I don't know. They seem to kind of be the 2 cliche dating couples, those 2, in my head.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And Christian, Team SoCal.
I think the second that they met each other at the starting line, I tweeted that if I'd have to spend more than 5 minutes with Laura, I'd kill myself. But since then, she's been kind of like a non-entity, except she kind of looks like Ashley Benson from certain angles, and that's all I thought about her the entire 2 episodes.
There's another blonde-haired girl on this season that I don't think I could spend 5 minutes with, but we'll get to her.
I love her. I love her.
And who have we got next? Bergen and Whackjob. I mean, Bergen and Kurt. This is a creative one. I love how punny the producers are here. Hashtag the blonde date. Very creative. Bergen and Kurt. An interesting duo, Jared.
Yeah, if I had to pick a least favorite team, it would probably be these 2. I don't really know why, but I think they'll be good moving further down. I think we saw sort of that worry about each other's feelings and get frustrated at each other. So I think in a couple of weeks they'll probably move up the rankings just because they'll be fighting all the time about stupid things.
I just think this Kurt guy is completely cray-cray. Rossi, what do you think of Bergen and Kurt? Hashtag the blonde date.
I'm liking them. I don't know. I don't have much to say.
Kristen.
Which one's which? Is Kurt the slightly taller one with the lighter shirt?
They really have this freaky, like, incest, like, weird fetish thing going on with this couple because they look so alike. They look like twins.
That was a real question.
Yes, Kurt is the tallest.
The more
I like the shorter. I like the shorter one that had the stupid French braid in his hair. The first
Sana
episode.
one.
Yeah, I think they're really cute though. I like them.
Who haven't I talked to? Alex.
I kind of don't mind them. My favourite part was that kind of at the end of the first episode with Phil, they seemed to establish firm boundaries that they were not a couple. It was like, we'll be good friends and all that, like, friend-zoned within a day.
If I had to make a prediction of all the couples, I'm going to say Bergen and Kurt don't make it as a couple. We'll see, though. Colin?
I'm going to make a prediction that Bergen and Kurt probably don't make it past the next episode. I can't wait to see these guys explode. They're so destined to fail. I mean, it's hilarious. I think you also hit on something, Noah, that hashtag incestuous blonde date might be a more appropriate thing. It is so hard to tell these guys apart. I mean, I hope they did their background checks well because these 2 very well may be cousins.
Yeah, moving on. Next is, I don't know what to make of this couple. I'd say they're one of the more notable ones, but this girl, I call Kurt a whack job. This girl is completely crazy. Blair and Haley, and please somebody explain to me, because I'm a stupid idiot. Hashtag RX for love. What the hell is RX for love?
Prescription for love. They're doctor and nurse.
Creative. I'm thinking, what the hell? Well, yeah, Kristen, seeing as you know everything about Blair and Haley, what do you think about this interesting pair?
I think that Haley's she should be the kind of girl that's with her. I love her. She's so awkward. I think she's in love with Blair already.
She's the creepy stalker girl.
Everything she does, she's so embarrassed about everything she does. If you look at her, she looks like a hot mess the entire time, but she's kind of awkwardly smiling. Do I still look cute? Do you still like me? And there was some clip. I think it was at the beginning of the second episode where she's yeah, I think we're getting on great and blah blah blah, and then he was oh well, I think maybe we can work together, and you could tell he was totally not feeling it. But I love her. She's a mess.
Colin, what do you think of Blair and Haley, RX for love?
I think I'm kind of in between you and Kristen. I agree that if this was real life, I would not be able to be around Haley for more than 10 seconds. She'd drive me nuts. But there's something strangely fascinating about watching how ridiculous she is on the show. And my favorite moment with her was the first car ride they have, and she's going on and on saying oh, I was really nervous that the guy ended up with, maybe he wouldn't like blondes. And then he's she's just oblivious that he has zero interest in her. Both of these two together, they could not have picked a better team, along with Bergen and Kurt. They could not have picked a better team that is destined to fail than Blair and Haley.
We also can't forget about the hideous selfie that they put on screen that she took in the back of the car.
We'll get to the selfies, Kristen. Trust me, we will get to the selfies. Morella, what do you think of Blair and Haley?
Well, they're incredibly entertaining, and I think I haven't laughed as much in the first episode of the team for a while. I think most of it's laughing at Blair's facial reactions when Haley just says anything, though. She's yeah.
She was right about the directions, though. We'll get to it, but she was right about that, and he was completely wrong.
No, I think my favorite moment, though, has to be the airport in the first bit where it's it would be awkward if you were married or something and you said to your wife, she's that happened to you? Yeah, twice. Just the awkwardness then. It was just brilliant.
Jared, are you a fan of Blair and Haley?
Not really. I mean, they're fun to watch, but it's just cringeworthy to just see how she's so invested in this relationship that they've been in for a couple of days, and he just does not want anything to do. She's from Survivor. I don't know, it's creepy and it's weird.
And Rossi.
They're 100% what I predicted they'd be like. And I thought they'd be gone by now, but they're not, and they're still here. But I love every second of it. She's a mess.
Yeah, you better make the most of it. I'm not sure how much of it we're going to get to see. And we'll just quickly talk about the already dating couples. Hashtag Sochi Love, that's a cute one. Ali and Steve, or hashtag most likely the winners. Colin, Ali and Steve, Winter Olympians?
They kind of fall into that category with Tyler and Laura, where I don't think they've really come out of their shells yet. I kind of expected more personality out of them at this point, but they're very competitive and they did well. Obviously, it was helped by the most rigged detour challenge we've seen on the Amazing Race since the fast forward surfing. But
yeah, since the surfing, yes.
But I mean, in all fairness, all the other teams had a pretty easy one that picked the other option, which we'll get to later. But they're obviously going to go far in the race. I'm hoping we get to see more personality out of them because they did show a lot of personality before the race.
This is a question for you, Colin. Who is better, Ali or Natalie and Megan, the Olympians?
Don't even go there.
That's all I was thinking when they did the Winter Olympics challenge. Natalie and Megan, bring them back.
Well, I was talking to somebody about that, about how it was so rigged, and they said, well, it's not necessarily rigged because look what happened to the Olympic hockey players in the Canadian version. It ended up being a disaster for them in the rig challenge. But obviously, the clear answer is that Ali and Steve are better in every way.
Rossi, Ali, and Steve.
Who are these? I don't even remember them.
The Olympians?
I don't even know if they sound like they're just nothing.
Kristen?
You keep catching me off guard by switching the order. I'm so tired. What are we talking about?
We're talking about
I don't even
Amazing Race season 20.
I don't know who they are. They've been like quietly racing kind of well, and that's about it. They haven't done anything.
One of them reminds me of Greg Carey. I'm not sure if it's Steve. Is Steve like Greg Carey? I can't really remember.
Wait a second. One of them, as in between Ali and Steve, one of them reminds you of a man?
It was either Ali, Steve, or what's his name.
Okay.
One of those.
So between different teams. I thought you meant between Ali and Steve.
Jared, have I asked you about Ali and Steve?
No. Yeah, they're so much less visible than I thought they would be. I thought they'd kind of be sort of the team that we see all the time, making sort of funny comments and just being out the front and being really competitive, but they've been sort of more in the background, like they've done well, but we just sort of haven't seen anything from them yet.
And Alex, Ali and Steve.
I picked them win. I'm still confident they will win. They're just kind of going about their business, no problems, and they'll kick it into fast gear when they need to.
Yeah, I get winner vibes from them. Next, we've got a team which I really feel for Harley. We've got Team New Kid. Harley wasn't in the New Kids on the Block, was he? That's not very nice. Harley and Jonathan. Let's switch it up again, Kristen.
I don't have anything to say about them either. They're fine. Like, they haven't made much of
Alex.
I like the point of Harley, poor guy. He's just kind of going along with the flow of all this New Kid fandom.
It's all about Jonathan.
It's all about Jonathan. Although I do like it at Harley's first, like when they announce the names, so it probably throws people off as to which one was in New Kids. I don't know, they kind of do okay. Their directional stuff in the first episode at the end wasn't great, but look, they seem to be quite good at the challenges, which is something I thought they would not be very good at.
I feel like Harley and Jonathan are the ultimate middle team. Like, they're destined to be 5, 6, or 7, surely. Jared, do you like the New Kids on the Block?
Okay. I think so. We think so the pre-episode is going to come true. I think that Jonathan is just going to really drag down the team. I think we saw glimpses of it in sort of the first episode when he's like, can we just like walk for a minute? So I think he's going to get tired and screw it up for both of them.
Rossi?
They're good, but they're just not like, they're just kind of flat. They're not really hiking in anything.
Colin?
Yeah, Jonathan's in trouble. They had one of the very first challenges in this race was a dancing challenge, and he flat out turned it down because he says he's bad at dancing, even though that's how he makes his living. The only other thing we saw from him was him repeatedly blowing on a rape whistle or something to get a cab's attention. I don't know what he was doing or if he was lost. The man's lost. He's blowing a rape whistle and he doesn't know how to dance.
Hey, it led them in the right direction in the end.
It did, yeah.
They just followed the music.
But it is funny that they're already doing better than I expected. I thought they would be one of the dead last teams, and I think most of us did. So they're doing something right so far.
And hashtag the hairstylist, Matt and Ashley. I'm a fan of the hairstylist. I think they're the poor man's wrestlers, but still fun. Let's jump back to you, Colin. Do you like Matt and Ashley, the hairstylists?
Yeah, again, I mean, it's pretty early with only 2 episodes. I would say I like them more pre-game. They haven't really had enough screen time yet to stand out that much. I do agree with what you said earlier. I get them confused with Jeff and Jackie, at least when they're on screen. But they've had a couple of funny moments so far, and I'm pretty sure that we'll get to see a lot more from them later on.
Rossi?
Who are we talking about here?
Matt and Ashley, the hashtag house.
Oh. Yeah, they're good. I don't have much to say.
Alex?
Well, they were doing really well at the very start, and then Matt kind of sucked.
He can't dance.
And at that point, they kind of have been playing catch-up. But I'm still just hating him for going, hey guys, like in the middle of a challenge, like, I think what we really need to do now is a group selfie.
Oh, we'll get to the selfies, trust me. Trust me about that one. Jared, do you like the hairstylist?
Yeah, the team. I like how Matt is kind of just the person who is always sort of after like the twist and like the couples and stuff. Like I think it was him who went up to Blair and Haley when they were eating sort of in the first episode, and then also I think on the mat, like Phil asked him a question about like some other team or something or rather.
And Christian?
I really like them. I think they were better in the first episode, like for viewing purposes. They were kind of like a hot mess that managed to scrape by. Like I love that they just stand there and like pray that the other teams will fail miserably while they're not practicing. But then like in the second episode they were real chill, so I hope they go back to being more like I want them to yell at.
Alright, we'll save the other 2 teams for when we get to them. I'm sure we've got a lot to say about some of them. Just a one-word answer, and when I say one word, this turned out bad last time. Yes or no, and we'll talk about it more maybe next episode. We've got a lot to cover in this one, but yes or no, has the dating twist worked so far in this season, Kristen?
Sure.
Just yes or no.
I really have a knack for adding third things into this episode. We had like Jeff and Jackie and what's his name, but Colin.
No, unfortunately.
Jared.
I am going to say no, but I really would like to choose neutral.
Sure. Alex.
No.
Rossi.
Yes.
So we've got one saving grace there. So let's jump into it. We've got a lot to cover, so we'll speed through some of this. It starts, and we've had them starting at the starting line. That's generally where people start, yes. And it was very abrupt start, I thought. Like, we had the couples there, and Phil's already there speaking, and we've got the men standing there. Apparently Kurt is not a man, because we had Bergen there instead. So that was very abrupt, and we had it all running in. God knows how they knew which partner to run to.
Could have been so much more fun if they didn't know who to run to.
Yeah, well, I think it was you, Alex, that brought it up, is they should have got to pick. That would be much more fun if we had 22 individuals and we got to pick. But anyway, express passes... sorry.
There's like the gay people in the season, so...
fair point.
Yeah, pick the one that looks gay.
Wouldn't that be Matt? Well, that's what Ashley said. Yeah, so Express Pass is back, Save is gone. Oh, boo-hoo. And we kick off with our first challenge, and we got a Survivor challenge. Survivor's ready to go. A grueling mud run, which led to tickets. Rossi, did you like the grueling mud run, or was this a waste of time?
I think it was different. Usually teams are running to their back right away, so it was a bit of a change up. I just didn't like the intro was shortened and we're not seeing Libby and CJ dating 3 months or whatever.
Well, we had running that we had to do. Lots of running we needed.
I want the classic formula for this.
Yes.
Well, what would they say? Jeff and Jackie, never met before. Jenny and Gelati, never met before.
Well, they're more than half the teams are dating already, so...
Jared, grueling mud run?
I thought it was a good change up. It was very hard sort of to know where people were and how they were actually going, sort of just showing the challenge. And I'm like, are these people coming first or are they last? And where is everybody else? All this weird, just 8 on the first flight and then 3.
That was weird. 3.
Really weird sort of split. Yeah. And also, like, that annoyed me. Like, normally I like the teams to be close together, but it annoyed me that, like, the fights, I don't know what the difference actually was, but it felt like it was 5 minutes.
It was 45.
Because they caught up so quickly.
Kristen, grueling mud run?
I thought it was fine. It wasn't really necessary, but it kind of introduced me to how much I was going to love Haley this season, so it's all good.
She was pretty good in the mud run, I'll give you that one. Alex, did you like it?
It was the first because I thought it looked like they were trying to just throw Survivor onto the Amazing Race for a bit, which I just thought was a bit much. But then it was kind of entertaining just to see more like which couples worked together through it and which couples kind of awkwardly stood at the end watching their partner struggle, Blair, which I found quite amusing because it's kind of like, this is probably why you're single, dude. You're not exactly helping the lady through this.
And Colin, did you like it?
Let's be honest, this had less to do with imitating Survivor and more to do with a setup for the pairs showering together, which was another failed attempt at this whole dating twist. Nobody's buying into it, so I don't think that it...
Yeah, I feel like there's kind of one big joke on the producers here, because no one's playing along.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I can't remember who was saying that, or I think it was Rossi was saying you wish they had had the intro and that you could have had, Blair and Haley never met before. We don't really need that because Phil has decided to remind the audience and every pit stop greeter of that over and over again with each team that checks in. We get it.
It's the new silver anniversary.
Yeah, we get it. Like, they've never met before. The whole opening sequence was kind of just filler for me.
Alright, moving on. I feel like I want to leave this podcast right now. What has the world come to? Amazing Race has jumped the shark and it has nothing to do with the dating twist. God help us all. Hashtag selfie cams. Mind my language, but what the fuck was that? Hashtag selfie cams. I don't even know what to say. Kristen, you're an expert on selfies. What is going on in the world?
I like it.
Oh,
You like the selfie cams?
Reject.
Why is this not
Hanging up
allowed?
on you now.
We got that amazing photo of Haley. Like, her eyes half closed, and it was so great.
That was
I love
pretty funny,
it.
that picture.
Like, did they actually put up on screen? Like, they're trying to make her look as bad as possible, and it's hilarious. I like it.
Alex, I know you're a massive fan of selfie cam.
Well, I was keeping a count for the recap. I think we're at like 14 at the moment or something.
Oh my god.
We have. It was a nasty little surprise when it first turned up. And I feel like some people are using it at very bad moments, although I know there's one that we definitely have to talk about later. It just seemed like, I was like, let's take a photo. It just kind of doesn't seem to.
Fair enough, they post them on the web page, but do we need to see these photos constantly in the episode? It doesn't shock me that they didn't bring this up in the pre-game thing of all the twists and that. Rossi, you must have an opinion on this.
I love the selfie cam.
You and Kristen, just
Yeah.
get out.
It's so funny. And then obviously there's a certain video we're going to talk about later on. But it's just, I think it's more like, I feel like it brings the race and we get snapshot moments, and they posted a whole bunch on the website. So I was like, yeah, that's cool.
I
just love
really
it.
can't wait to the Survivor selfie cam moments. That's going to be brilliant. Colin, you love the selfie cam, don't you?
Oh, okay. Where do I start? Why do they need a selfie cam? These people have a camera on them at all times. Why do they need somebody to post online? They take the video and they take a screenshot. They've been doing this for 26 seasons already. So let's make it so much easier. If you want a picture of your experience on the race, we're going to make you take your own pictures and video now, instead of the cameraman that we're paying like $80,000 a year to follow you around. This makes no sense.
And to make it worse, it wasn't even sponsored by Sprint or Samsung or anything. It was just...
There's not even product placement.
Jared, do you love the selfie cam?
I'm on the fence, just because it's just there was no explanation of it, which I think annoys me more than anything. It's just like, okay, they're taking selfies. If it had a point to it, I think I could stand it a bit more. Like if it came back and it's like, oh, final challenge. It all comes down to the selfie.
Oh, God.
Right. So, you know, it's just kind of pointless. I just don't know why. Yeah.
If I had the option between the Amazing Race Family Edition and selfie cams, I would pick Family Edition 100% of the time. I am anti-selfie cam. Yes, well, moving on. We've got a lot to get through. Just butt in if I miss anything. I'm going to fly through this, but we're flying to Tokyo, Japan, and one thing I noted, I'm sure we all noticed, Phil on the Scene. Phil on the Scene is back, so I was in love with that. Two Phil on the Scenes in a week, like this is paradise, makes up for the selfie cams with Jenny and Jelani, and we have our first detour. And the option is Sinking Steps or Samurai Sake. And Sinking Steps with Jenny, Jelani, Matt and Ashley, Ali, Steve, Jeff and Lyda, Bergen, Kurt, Mike and Rochelle, Libby and CJ, Blair and Haley. Whoops, realised we didn't talk about Mike and Rochelle.
I was about to say that.
Jeff and Jack, we'll talk about them. Jeff and Jackie, Harley and Jonathan, and Lyda and Jeff did Samurai Sake. General questions that nobody likes. Which one would you do, and what was more interesting, Jared?
I think watching it, I would have picked I'm into it. I probably would have picked the Sinking Steps. I think that the Samurai Sake must have sounded really hard written down, because I was surprised that sort of more teams didn't choose to do that, because it definitely seemed the easier of the two.
Kristen?
I probably would have picked the dancing thing. And I think I don't know what this shit's called. I think that one
Race, it's called.
I think that one made better TV too. But I don't know. I guess if you can memorize simple shit, that one's a lot easier. But I wouldn't be able to do that anyway, so I would have just left.
I thought both were kind of pretty entertaining for our first detour to watch, because they had the funny samurais there. Colin, same question.
I definitely would have picked the Sinking Steps, because knowing the Amazing Race, the Saki one should have been a lot harder than this. It should have been one of those challenges where you have to memorize all the bottles, and then you're going to be tested on it, and you're going to have to know them all. It ended up being way too easy, but there's no way anybody could have known that going in. I kind of have issues with the detours, which we'll probably cover in a little bit, but based just off the descriptions, I can understand why others did Sinking Steps, because Amazing Race is usually a lot harder when it comes to these memorization challenges.
Alex, same question.
Probably the same. Like, I think I would have done the Sinking Steps. As someone who dances, I feel like I probably should have done that one.
Well, Jonathan dances too, and we saw how that...
That is true, that is true.
Oh, but I have to take time to learn the routine. I don't know. Oh, no.
We're not all that terrible. But at the same time, like, I kind of just wish the Saki one had a team that didn't get on
Yes.
Because doing no answers the whole time would have just been so entertaining.
Rossi, which one would you do? And what was more entertaining?
If I was on the race, I probably would have been, the dancing wouldn't be too bad. But, like, after watching it, I probably wouldn't want to...
That would be so damn hard. There were so many steps to do.
I don't know if I could have memorized it and done it in time and stuff.
And no one was doing the bird ride at the end. Everyone just did one rise. They never went back down and did a flap. I'm not sure if anyone else noticed that. And the song really got to me after the 100th time we had to hear it. Whatever it was. Apologies to any Japanese listeners. And obviously we had Jeff and Lyda struggling. Some people flew through it. Matt and Ashley were pretty terrible at it. Anyone have anything to add on the detours at all?
Yes, quite a bit.
Go.
First of all, Jenny was amazing at Sinking Steps. Like, she looked better than the actual professionals who was doing it. Jelani, not so much, obviously. But the Samurai one, I completely agree with Alex. I wish that this had been harder, because what we saw last year with, Sergeant Jerkoff, and then I think it was Vikings in the one-handed challenge where you had to serve them, these characters are supposed to get really angry, and I was just, every time they answered, I was hoping they'd be wrong, so they'd, like, smash the bottle open on the table or hold a sword to somebody.
They were friendly samurais. Samurais aren't friendly.
Well, and that's the other funny part, is that did anybody else catch when Harley was asking them, what is it you're ordering? And there's the one guy who refused to even look at him. I'm not even going to dignify you with a look. And then that exact same guy later on, when they're trying to pronounce what it is, the guy gives like this repulsed look on his face when Harley's trying to pronounce the name of the bottle. Like, I wanted Harley to get it wrong so this guy would like try to behead him or something.
Maybe that guy was tried to audition for the Sinking Steps but didn't get into the band, so he was a bit upset, so he had to sit at the table with the Saki.
Yeah, you didn't meet the weight requirement, so we're going to put you in with the fat guys in the line.
You're right, though. He really didn't look happy. Anything else on Sinking Step or Samurai Sake?
Yeah.
We had selfie cams as well there.
Yep. Credit to the dancers for just going on. I always feel sorry for the people like doing dance routines and things like that. Because just marking friends, like, we've been doing this for like 5 hours. Like, can you just get it right? Because I'm really bored of this.
Yeah, some people were going for like 23 tries and that was just for one team.
Well, they said Jeff and Lyda had about 4 hours or something, and I thought the dancers, if they've just gone non-stop, essentially it's just team after team trying. I'm just thinking the poor guys are probably just thinking like, yeah, we thought we'd be done by now. This is a bit long.
Yeah, maybe they had, I don't know if that was some racist. Maybe they had people who switched out during it. Let's leave that one. Awkward. We'll have to move on. Straight up.
I wanted to say something.
Alright, go Rossi, quick.
One thing that's bugged me so far about the detours is that one's like child's like, so simple and stupid, and people do it. And then there's one that's actually physically, you have to think about it and do it.
Well, it didn't bother me so much in the second one, but yeah, I guess with the first one it was like that. Yeah, moving on, we had the U-turn, which I was very happy to see on the first episode. I'm sure they've done it before, but I can't remember the last time they've done U-turn on the first episode, so I thought this was a great addition to it. Morella, did you like the U-turn coming back?
U-turns are cool, but we'll just say it there. I was surprised more teams weren't willing to because we would like to get away with anything, but
you can also only use it once, so.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought it was kind of fair enough in the end. It didn't. I don't even know how much of a part it played in the end, because I know they went back and did it, but you really don't know with the time gap how much they were already behind. They just seem to kind of take forever. I like the team like going, well, let's have a punt and think who we haven't seen at all and who might still be somewhere like remotely relevant.
Yeah, it shows the first impression of Jeff and Jackie on the other teams.
Yeah.
Christian, did you like U-turn coming back and how it all played out?
Yeah, it was fine. I think that it played out as expected. That a team would kind of panic when they were near last place and just use it on somebody that they knew was behind them. So
I thought a pretty good move by Mike and Rochelle, because who knows what was happening at Saki, Samurai, Angry Man. But Colin, U-turn's back.
Okay, this is the moment I was talking about earlier. I had very high expectations for Tyler and Laura. I picked them pregame to win. Tyler did what maybe, it didn't turn out this way, but it could have been the dumbest thing ever. Who shows up at a double U-turn a couple seconds ahead of somebody, then turns to the guy behind him and says, "No, it's okay, you go first." You
go first.
If I was Jelani, I would have been like, "Great, thanks, man. Guess what? I'm U-turning you, you idiot." Like, what kind of dumb move was that?
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was extremely dumb. Any other thoughts on U-turn back and how it all played out? Jeff and Lyda, Mike Rochelle, Jeff and Jackie?
Well, I do like that they had it early in the season because there's more of an opportunity for it to get used, but unfortunately there was also more of an opportunity for people to be confused. They don't know who these other teams are. They obviously can't tell the difference between Matt and Ashley and Jeff and Jackie, so they just pick one at random. Let's just pick one of these teams to U-turn. If I had a choice, I probably would have saved it for the second episode.
Kristen, it's back.
What?
It's
You
back.
already asked me.
I did?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you had lots of insight on it then. Jared.
Yeah, I'm happy that they had a U-turn in the first episode. I'm not the biggest fan of the blind U-turns, just because I love when a U-turn team sticks in the
It's blind date season.
Team, but I mean, it was good because it actually had an impact. Like when the last team is U-turned and then they're just even further behind than they already are. But I mean, Jeff and Lyda are ahead of Libby and CJ, so it sort of just changed around those final two placings.
Rossi, did you talk about the U-turn?
No.
Talk about the U-turn.
No, I didn't think it was. It was fine. I didn't think it was a bad move, and I like that it was blind. We haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah. So obviously Jeff and Lyda U-turn by Mike and Rochelle. Pretty good move. We had to find pit stop. The pit stop's name was Parking Space. Confused a few teams. Jelani, team number one, won the express pass. Then we had Jeff and Jackie, Laura Tyler, Ali and Stephen fourth, Harley Jonathan fifth, Bergen and Kurt seventh, Mike and Rochelle. Sorry, Mike and Rochelle. I don't know how I forgot them. Let's quickly talk about them because we missed them. Colin, Mike and Rochelle.
I love Mike and Rochelle. I love them pregame. I think so far they're living up to their entertainment potential. They're absolute disasters at the race, and that kind of makes them more endearing.
Morella?
I really like them too. I think they're lovely. Although if I hear at the start of every leg that, Mike has never met Rochelle.
Never met Mikey.
I'm not too,
it's not blind children, it's blind
yes,
Daisy.
exactly. It's like Mike Smith. He's never met my kid, so I'm just going to go off for a month or so and just race around the world. My kid's going to be like, why have you gone off with a ram?
Yeah, who's this man?
So that could and you're just like watching it with your kid later. It's like, who was that, Mummy? Oh, don't worry, we're not together anymore.
Well, she could always say that she was one of the blind date couples and say that she hadn't met him before if it didn't turn out well.
Well, that's if the kid doesn't know how to read.
Yeah, this could be like a 14-year-old kid.
Not actual blind date.
Jared, Mike and Rochelle, or Kat and Jesse, we could call them.
Exactly. No, I think they're a great team. I thought it was funny. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but just in the second episode when she falls and she thinks that she's broken her wrist and the medic's kind of like, you're fine.
Can you move this? Yeah.
But no, I think they're a good team. She'll be breaking down quite often, I predict, throughout the race. But I'm okay with that.
Kristen, Mike and Michelle.
I love them. I wasn't expecting them to be dead at everything, but like they were kind of a mess the first episode, but then like I don't know how they can ever live up to how bad they were in the second episode by still managing to stay. But I love them, and I hope that they somehow just come in like second to last place every week for a while because I love them.
Yeah, hashtag truck stop love. Very Romeo and Juliet. Rossi, do you love Mike and Rochelle?
They are such a hot mess, but I love it. I thought it was funny when they switched deep toward my wedding.
Yep. Number 8 were Blair and Haley. In 9th were Matt and Ashley. 10th, Libby and CJ, surprisingly made it through. And number 11, Jeff and Lyda, hashtag flight crew. Have to say I'm a little bit disappointed that they gone so early. I kind of like Jeff and Lyda. I like the older kind of couples. So yeah, Jeff and Lyda are the first boots. Rossi, what do you think about them? They're gone.
I really didn't care for them. They really didn't show any sort of entertainment. They were boring. I was kind of convinced that they would do a non-elimination the first episode, just because of the blind date. So I was shocked that they were actually eliminated.
Kristen?
Yeah, I wasn't really that impressed by them. So when it was down to the last 2 or 3 teams, I was glad that they were the ones that left. But
I didn't want any of those teams going from that last bunch. Morella, do you like Jeff and Lyda? Sad to see them go.
Jeff didn't do much for me. He was kind of interesting, but I do love Lyda's kind of. I think it was back in the original part where they were driving the car, and she kind of started doing like position. It kind of sounded like you were trying to like half make a porno of like flight attendants. Yeah, it was like sexually suggestive. It was quite. I laughed a lot at that.
Colin, Jeff, and Lyda.
I'm glad they were the first team to go because they probably were the least entertaining. Jeff did have that one good line during the episode during the sinking steps where he said that line dancing was invented by women to make men look stupid. I kind of like that.
That was good.
Other than that, I mean,
as a dancer,
if any team was going to go, I was glad it was them. I was really nervous that CJ and Libby were going to be gone, so maybe that's why I was so okay with Jeff and Lyda going.
Jared, did you talk about Jeff and Lyda?
No, I was devastated that they left, mainly because I assumed that they would finish third. I really liked them. I liked that she was just she got really upset and then she just started crying. She's like, come on, you got to focus. It's all you've got to focus. And just sort of giving her a pep talk. And I loved at the end when he's like, our relationship is stronger than ever. It's all fine. You could just tell that she was so pissed off at him for screwing everything up. Like she was fine at the challenge, and it was just him. And I felt like she just really wanted to break up with him at that point.
Well, Lyda, not really a funny story. Lyda had a bit of a rough time. The trivia that we normally say after each team. Lida's father died 2 days before they left for the race, and her sister died of cancer when she returned. So I'm not sure how highly she holds the Amazing Race experience. So maybe you could rewatch that first episode in a different light. Maybe that's why they were last place. And Jeff and Lida were also the first team to be eliminated by a U-turn on the first leg. So maybe that is the first time they've done that then. Moving on to episode 2, we're still in Japan. We're going to Nagano, which Ali and Steve were big fans of. And we had our first roadblock of the season, Think Outside the Box, performed by Jeff, Tyler, Jimmy, Ali, Mike, Harleyberg, and Ashley Haley Libby. Not sure how visually captivating this roadblock came out. Colin, did you like Think Outside the Box?
What I did like about it was we talked about, does the dating twist work or not? This is one of the areas where it does work, for the worse. The fact that these dating couples or the blind date couples don't really know, like, should I be cheering them on? How much should I be cheering them on? In Kurt's case, should I ignore his very existence while he's doing this? That was okay, but yeah, I mean, they couldn't have picked less interesting puzzle for them to do.
Still don't know how that puzzle is supposed to work. It was just people sitting down in a room playing around with a box, and no, don't take that the wrong way. Kristen, Think Outside the Box?
Can I mention a couple of things from before that?
Go ahead.
I love how they open the episode with everyone, like, going to sleep in cubicles.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
They usually show that. And then I felt like they kind of, like, gave away what was happening early. Like, the editing was so ridiculous for CJ and Libby. Like, everybody got out and was on the trains except for them. And that's when Phil came in and was like, on the first train are these teams. On the second train is this team. And on the fourth, and then they got to the fourth train. And then CJ and Libby still hadn't even gotten anywhere near the train.
CJ and Libby are still trying to take their selfie.
so they were clearly so far behind that I had no hope for them already at that point. But anyway, the box thing was kind of lame. Like, it wasn't very visually amazing. But I really think that I don't know what his name is. The half of JJ. What's his name? Jeff. I really didn't think Jeff was ever gonna figure that out. Like, every time somebody else got it, he just had this, like, mind-boggled look on his face and was, like, looking over everyone's shoulders trying to figure out what the fuck he was supposed to do.
Said he's a
and I really didn't think he was going to actually finish that. So that he finished in, like, 4th or 5th getting out of there, I was impressed. Because I thought he was, no.
Jared Box?
Not a fan.
I think it was a very sort of boring roadblock. Just the way it looked, like you said, and the good about drumming, people have people drumming and making noise, but as far as a puzzle goes, I'm sure it was difficult, but very easy to sort of work out. You just had to sort of be patient with it, instead of just something that people couldn't get and would struggle on for sort of hours. I wish they'd sort of done a different puzzle.
Rossi, did you like it?
It was okay. I can see what they were going for, trying to do a confusing puzzle with loud drums and music and whatnot to frustrate.
It wasn't quite the crab challenge with Jim and Misty and the instruments playing around there. It wasn't as good as that.
Nothing good there.
And Morella?
I didn't mind it. I thought it was still pretty good just watching them and kind of getting a chance to kind of see how some of the blind dates think. I did think it was a bit cringeworthy when you had the 3 blind dates there at the start and the girl's like, my man's the smartest. No, my man's the smartest. No, my man's. I was just like, all right, come on now.
Which producer put them up to that one?
Yeah. And then watching Haley do it was a bit entertaining too, because let's just pull. You're gonna make some progress, and we can.
Jamie,
I don't even remember what one of his comments was. Do you understand it, or do you have like a plan? I was just like, this is a little silly.
After Think Outside the Box, we had Phil on the scene again. Woo! Yay! We love Phil on the scene. And Blind Detour is back. I'm so happy about this. This is what I wanted. I think to fit with the season, every detour should be a blind detour. I love the blind detour. We had Cher and we had Chair, both which I thought was hugely entertaining. Kristen, what was more entertaining, and any other notes or anything you had on the blind detour? Are you happy Blind Detour is back?
I like the blind detour. I don't really get do they get a clue of what they're supposed to do at the box?
I think they get a brief cryptic note or something like that.
Alright. I thought they were both amusing in various ways. Like, the noodle eating seemed pretty easy, but it was still really funny. Like, it made for good. It was pretty entertaining. Like, eating a bowl of noodles should not be entertaining, but...
I love it when Phil said, the latest in Japanese, cooling technology. A fan. Those Naganonians really need to make a trip up to Tokyo sometime or something. Anything else on the detours, Kristen?
Yeah, Jenny was killing that. Like, she was taking that like a champ. She was eating like half the bowl at the time. It was amazing. And then, like, Mike choking on his noodles was just like the height of their epic failing of the entire episode, and I loved that moment. And I don't know, the chair thing. Oh, I did want to mention just how I said at the beginning that Matt and Ashley, like, they kind of calmed down this episode, and I hope they go back to being ridiculous. But I don't know how much anybody cared, but I thought it was interesting that they saw that there were only a few seconds left, and Matt just, like, real calmly was like, oh, it's okay, don't kill yourself, hey, you first next time, and I'll do the second lap. And I was kind of disappointed that they weren't more angry.
There was some very fine lines with those 3 minutes 55 seconds. Very close times there. My favourite in the noodles were Kurt and Bergen, with Kurt being a little whingy bitch, and Bergen just not having any of it. Marilla, sharing chair, blind detour.
Blair's outfit. That's all I've got to say. That was a top combination. But I was like, I could see some of them almost streamlined, like really nice stuff, and then he ended up with that, as if they want him to be like the complete novelty more than he already is.
That's good.
It was an entertaining challenge. I liked it when they had the two of them on the track, and you kind of like, go, and Rochelle's like, I'll be good at this, and they're just not moving. And I think Haley was the first time where it was like 6 minutes 50 or something. That was
such an epic fail with the ice skate, Mike and Rochelle. That was funny.
They were good moments.
Jared, did you like this one?
I'm a fan of the blind detour, and I love it when sort of the clues for them are just really vague. Like Chair, who in the right mind thing, number on Chair at an ice skating rink. Like, surely the first thing that comes to mind when you hear Chair is like you'll probably be building something. So I thought that was good. I love the outfits at the ice skating, how they just sort of had their like little things, like the rabbit ear beanies and the like animal gloves or whatever, like for the Olympians. It was just really weird.
Rossi, chair, blind detour.
Glad to see the blind detour. It's very fitting in the theme, so that's a good choice. I'm trying, Noah.
I forgot I did a bit slower for you, that's right. Speak slowly to Rossi.
Shut the fuck up. No, the noodles were surprisingly entertaining. Like, it was fun to watch. Like, I didn't think there'd be that much excitement out of a cooling fan.
Latest Japanese technology.
And the chair was cool. The freaking bunny hats were so fun.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Colin, I know you've got stuff to add on Share and Share Blind Detour.
Well, I am glad that, unlike one of the few issues with last season where all the detours just seemed ridiculously easy, they've brought back some of these challenging ones with sinking steps and the chair. But as has been mentioned, I think both times the other detour has been way too easy. The noodles, I think I felt like they were kind of trying to over-explain, how hard this was. It was one of those moments where it's like you're putting noodles in each other's mouth. So they made sure to show every challenging moment anybody had, which ultimately came down to just Kurt being a picky eater and Mike having a bad gag reflex. But the challenge was entertaining to watch. The chair...
Challenge for the theme of the season.
Yeah. The chair, I was surprised because that one was a very difficult challenge, which I liked, but I didn't think there'd be a lot of entertainment. And then we got Haley on skates. I mean, first of all, this is the funniest thing I found the whole episode. They have, 3 minutes and 55 seconds to complete it. Haley is shown going at a turtle's pace. She probably has traveled 10 feet, and the clock is like at 7 minutes. I mean, were they not allowed to stop when 3:55 had been reached? No, you got to keep going till the lap's done, girl. And it's like an hour and 28 minutes is the final tally time for her.
Either that or just wipe out and call for the medic.
Yeah, you either have to fake... That's why Rochelle did it. She didn't want to have to be going around there for 12 minutes like Haley. She's like, I'm just going to fake a wrist injury here.
That chair, though, I was thinking the Olympians only barely scraped through. How is anyone else going to do this? But a few of them pulled it out.
Well, Steve finished in like half the time. I think his was like 1 minute and 40 seconds or something.
Isn't Ali the one who's supposed to be the skater or something?
Yeah, she's the speed skater.
Anyone got anything else to add on the detour before we move on? Alright, cool. So, obviously we had all that, and then we had Mike and Rochelle switching detours. We've had a few switches this one, and CJ and Libby, we had them sucking. I liked when we had the Nakanamo marriage or whatever it was, weddings. Like they're gonna fit weddings.
Where it said Kamachi and she repeatedly pronounced it as Kamakachi.
Yeah, that's it. Weddings and oh no, I'm not seeing
they
that.
Could say bingo,
and we had the pit stop patio daemon with the pit stop greeted Japanese hipster. And Phil continuing to talk about, Phil, last season with, do you think this mum and daughter is a healthy relationship? He loves to talk to the pit stop crews. How long have these two been a couple? Oh, I don't know. And we had the Japanese hipster breakdancing, well, not quite, but, so he was a good greeter, I thought. First, Jenny and Gelati yet again, and... Gone are the days of the Travelocity roaming gnome, and enter the Fitbit wellness kit, a personal chef, a gym membership, and groceries. Really upping the ante on the rewards this season. Fitbit wellness kit. How exciting!
Do you think that they're giving these non-trip things because they don't know if the dating couples will work out in the end?
That's a good point.
Well, they seem so pushy on these relationships that they should force them to go on a Indonesian holiday for two.
I can't wait for the episode where the first place team gets a $50 gift certificate to Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, who knows where I think it's only down from the Fitbit wellness kit. Number 2, Laura and Tyler. 3, Ali and Steve. We got very similar finishing positions for the second, because they really need to start bunching them up again, because it was just a complete repeat. Except for 4th was Harley and Jonathan, and the winners of the date night, Japanese Hot Springs. I'm really not sure how they even won this. was it just random? And surely they would want to give it to a blind couple.
Could it be like
So
whoever's Fitbit has the most steps walked throughout the day?
yeah, well, they've done kind of things like that before, so they could incorporate Fitbit into it. Just a quick run around. What are we thinking on this whole date night thing, Cole?
It's probably going to end up... I think I said this during the preview episode. It's probably going to end up being like Exile Island on Survivor. You know, they'll show it once or twice, and then after that, they'll announce, oh, you've won the date night, but they'll never show any footage from it.
Alex?
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be like Colin just said. I just don't want it to take away from like good screen time for us to kind of see a couple. I like to see a blind date couple show that they're clearly not making any progress.
Kristen?
I'm kind of disappointed that they won it because I really wanted like Blair and Haley to win it,
Yeah,
so they
Blair
had
and
to
Haley
go on
or
like
Bergen,
a one-on-one
yeah.
date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jared?
Yeah, I don't think Patrick, unfortunately, the twist isn't going the way that they wanted, and you can really see, I feel sorry for Phil because he's trying so hard with like everybody, like every time one of the blind teams turns up at the mat or some other team who asks them like, oh, what relationship advice could you give these other people? And he's trying so hard, but it's just like, Phil, just drop it.
Is Phil worried he's going to lose his job?
I think so.
That's the final line for Phil. He's really pushing it now.
Take that crap.
And Rossi, do you like the date night?
Yeah, I just was really upset that a blind date didn't get it. Like, wish it was kind of built into the pit stop, like the first blind date to check in would win or something.
Seemed like a wasted opportunity. And not even just the... Like, Harley and Jonathan kind of seem like the most sane of the already dating couples as well. Like, we could at least give it to Matt and Ashley or something. But that's the way it goes. We've got a whole season coming. Fifth, we had Bergen and Kurt after Noodlegate. They finally got through it. Sixth was Jeff and Jackie, lowered down a bit. Seventh, Matt and Ashley, just to make it more confusing. 8, Mark and Rochelle, they finally made it there. 9th, even though I love how entertaining this team is, I was kind of hoping they wouldn't make it to the pit stop. 9th, we had Blair and Haley. Not a good week for them. And 10th, we kind of haven't talked much about them this episode. Is this team the worst team in Amazing Race history? And I'm not talking the entertainment factor. I'm talking about, like, this. They did everything wrong and more. Like, and they didn't even have the right name in the pre-game things. Like, I swear we had Libya or Libya or something. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was just Libby in the show. Spelled Libby. Yeah, I loved this team. They were so good. Can't say I'm too devastated to see them go, but they were so entertaining, and I think they may be candidates for the worst team to ever compete in the race. Might be up there with the Gutsy Grannies or something. Kristen, Libby, and CJ.
I love this team. Like, I'm glad we at least got in, like, multiple wedding and ring references. Like, she was just, like, running by a store with dresses and was like, hey, you want to get married? Like, I love that we got that out of them. And, like, I love how we got to see, like, how, like, what we saw a minute-long that was pretty much the same, where Libby was, like, the completely outspoken one, and then CJ kind of just, like, and like Dennis Rodman, where I had no idea what he was saying, but he looked kind of happy. But from the first episode too, I love that Libby, like, I didn't even notice it until the like previously on, but they showed Libby like running through the, I don't know what it was, the airport. Where were they in the first episode? But she's like running with her hands out, like her arms are outstretched in front of her, so like no one could run into her and no one would touch her.
This team really over their heads in this game.
You kind of knew they weren't long for the game because they didn't seem to care that much. Usually the team is like they never mind, like, hey, let's actually try to go a little faster, and they just seemed to be really happy to just be on camera or something.
It wasn't
I
Dennis
love
and
them.
Isabel from last season, second out, that's for sure. Alex, you must love Libya and CJ.
There were a lot of great moments. I think I loved the part that they ran into the same taxi driver 3 times. Like, third time, you know what? Let's just go with him.
Do you speak English? English? Aaron? Sorry.
I think I counted 6 references. I think to marriage and things that came up, which was nice and fun. And just even the way they ended at the end, it just seemed so abrupt. It was just like, and here you are, and you're eliminated. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, they will always be forever remembered in the Amazing Race legacy. Colin, I know you're a fan of Libby and CJ.
Yeah, I really hope they sue CBS over what I'm going to call selfie gate, because this is exactly what I was talking about. There's you could match up the shots of their selfie and the camera that was 2 inches away from them identically, and you know the producer's like, you got to get a selfie before you get on the train, and then the train goes by. Like, I want them to sue over that. That cost them the whole race. What I actually found more entertaining was the pit stop greeter when they came in. Like, somebody needs to explain to these pit stop greeters that you're supposed to be excited at the first place team and really somber for the last place team, because the first place team, Phil's trying to engage him in a conversation. All he can say is, okay. And then the last place team, he's like grabbing them a hug and say, hi, welcome to Japan. Like, he's so excited. Somebody didn't explain the rules to this guy.
Rossi, Louie, and CJ.
Oh, what a mess. What a mess. God, I don't even know. I still think this was probably the worst team.
Aaron.
They were great. I just sort of wish that they fought a bit more. Like, going into it, I thought that like, they'd sort of be arguing with each other all the time, and she'd sort of be telling him what to do, and then just sort of none of that really materialized, and they actually got along sort of fairly well, and it's a shame that they didn't pick the ice skating challenge, but I mean, they were funny at the noodles, but I agree, like, the ending was really weird. They were just kind of really content, and even Phil, instead of like creating any tension, at the beginning, and you're the last people here, and you're eliminated.
Yeah, poor Libby and CJ, but I'm sure they had a great time. And if you're listening, Libby and CJ, we love you. A few kind of closing things. Firstly, I need a better hashtag for Jeff and Lida and Libby and CJ. I don't even know what Libby and Team Tuskegee? Is that Tuskegee? So, Alex, give me a better one for Jeff and Lida and Libby and CJ. These ones suck this season.
Okay, I was going with hashtag now CJ and hashtag Mile High Club.
Yeah.
Colin?
I was going to go with hashtag Mile Low Club, but that's close enough.
Yeah, I like Mile Low Club.
For CJ and Libby, it's got to be hashtag put a ring on it.
Jared?
Yeah, for Libby and CJ, it has to be something like hashtag marry me. And for Jeff and Lida, I think based on her, hashtag we're not okay.
I think Libby and CJ need to be hashtag Tamagotchi wedding or whatever she was saying. Rossi?
For Jeff and Lida, I don't know, hashtag boring as shit. And then...
Hold on. Before we continue, it should be noted that Rossi admitted to not even watching their preview videos before ranking them as contestants.
What do you have against Jeff? Do you have something against flight attendants or something?
Yeah. Oh, no, because I like Shelly and Niecy,
Nisi. And
Libby and CJ, I don't know, hashtag selfie fail. Go with that.
And Kristen, I know you don't like playing these games. Give me a hashtag of the two teams.
I'm not playing this game.
I thought we might get something. Alright, let's move on. She doesn't want to play the game. Next week, we've got a party in Thailand and Trouble in Paradise for Blair and Haley, so that should be good. Who's the pit stop greeter going to be?
Paradise?
Well, Thailand. Paradise?
Oh, I thought that usually means that the team actually likes each other before they have trouble.
Well, she likes him.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Who's the pit stop greeter going to be for Phuket, Thailand? Alex.
It has to be a transvestite, surely.
Colin?
It's got to be Gondia grinding against one of these blind date players.
Rossi?
I don't know, probably someone from The Amazing Race Thailand or Survivor Thailand or something.
Yeah, the winner of Amazing Race Thailand. Jared?
I was going to say Gandia as well, but I'm probably just a random bartender.
And I don't like playing these games. Who's the hashtag, the greeter going to be?
Your questions are terrible.
Your responses are worse.
Yeah.
I want to go back to sleep.
Well, you don't get to go until you tell us who the pit stop greeter is going to be. Even if it means waiting until the next episode airs to find out who it really is. You're not leaving.
Me.
You're going to be the pit stop greeter.
Spoiler alert.
Well, that would be kind of interesting. Your team number one.
Your team number one,
predictions.
Kristen, wake up!
Alright, predictions. So, I said that Lida and Jeff would be 7th, and I said Bergen and Kurt would be first out. Let's see, who have we got here? I should have been more prepared. Colin said Lida and Jeff would be 6th, and Michelle and Mike would be out. Kristen said CJ and Libby would be first out, and that Jeff and Lida would be 8th. Rossi said Lida and Jeff would be 10th, and Blair and Haley would be out first. Jared said, just to keep with traditions, that Lida and Jeff would be 3rd place. So Jared gets -1 point, and Blair and Haley first out. And Alex said Harley and Jonathan first out, Jeff and Lida 10th. So the point goes to Alex and Rossi for Jeff and Lida. For the next one, Rossi said that CJ and Libby would be 7th. Jared said that CJ and Libby would be 9th. Alex said CJ and Libby 5th. Kristen said CJ and Libby first out. And Colin said CJ and Libby 7th. And Noah said CJ and Libby 2nd out. Woo! I finally get a point, and I think that's the only time I've ever been right on anything. So go CJ and Libby. That's it, I guess. First episode, we're covering a lot of Amazing Race in one go, so we've glossed over a lot. Next week we'll talk more about the teams and all the jazz on the dating twist. We kind of had a lot to cover. As always, subscribe, Survivor Oz. Go to our website, send us a comment. I'm not sure if we're going to force the listeners to send comments until at least episode 10 or something, as we did last season. But if you want to put a comment on there, please do it. And, of course, read Alex Morella's recap on it. And I think that's it for this week. Rossi, thanks for joining us for episode 1 and 2 of The Amazing Race Oz, the Jade Anniversary recap.
Yeah.
Don't know if we'll see you back next week. Kristen, also the happiest girl alive right now. Thanks for joining. Alex, you've got the reputation as being happier than Kristen and Rossi. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. It's bedtime.
Colin, the host of the cast assessment, thanks for joining. How did it feel to take a step back for a week?
Nice and relaxing.
Mutiny.
Yeah. I think we need to get the professional back on, Colin. You've got to be back. And Jared last, but I don't think you were least this week. So you're good for this week, but you were least in the rankings. So thanks, Jared.
Thank you.
And we'll be back next week to cover episode 3 in Phuket, Thailand. Still holding out hope for Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Looking very unlikely, and the damn host of Survivor Oz isn't even going to be watching this show anymore. So if you're listening, Ben, we hate you. And that is it. We'll join you next week, or you'll join us. Who knows? We'll speak to you next time on the plains.